Social media is filled with just a cesspool of some of the worst fitness hot takes you'll ever see. I mean, you have people who have no clue, have just started their fitness journey, have just started lifting the 5-pound dumbbells off the rack, and they will be giving you some of the worst advice possible. You also have some genetic freaks who are just, they could do fucking anything and grow. And then you just have people who are maybe in a little bit of cope. So that all kind of comes together to create the worst cesspool of fitness hot takes. And we're going to take a look at some of them. We'll see if they're reasonable. We'll see if they're not so reasonable. And I'll give you my opinion, my 2 cents about whether I think that they're at all good takes.
10 things that are normalized in the gym community that are actually not normal. Once I started taking a step back from constantly consuming social media and gym talk and all that stuff, my eyes have been opened. Number 1, eating your body weight in protein. Too much protein is not good for your kidneys. So yes, there is such thing as consuming too much protein. Prioritizing protein, no, prioritize all your macro and micronutrients, all right? Number 2 is spending 3 hours or more in the gym a day. Okay, I used to fall victim to this because I just loved being in the gym. But to get a good quality workout in, it shouldn't take any longer than an hour and a half. Another thing is going for cardio in the morning and then coming back for weight training at night, or doing excessive amounts of cardio.
All right, let's stop it right there. Protein. So protein doesn't seem to have any actual negative effect on your kidneys. I was just at a conference not that long ago, a few months ago, where they were actually going over it. And it really is not, the evidence is not totally there in terms of kidney damage from excess protein. The real main problem with excess protein is that you're usually sacrificing, and she kind of hit on it, you're usually sacrificing other macronutrients to try and just maximize protein, especially in a cut. Like if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to limit your calories, especially if you're going hard, like you're going like a 1500 or less calorie deficit, having absurdly high protein, like above your body weight in pounds, in grams, that's going to reduce the amount of carbs, which is going to reduce your ability to recover, and also just probably reduce your performance in the gym. And then fat, I mean, anything below 30% of your body weight in terms of fat is probably going to have negative effects on your hormones. And you're probably not going to feel your best. So that I agree with. And then focusing on all your macronutrients, absolutely. Being in the gym for like 3 hours, if you want to do it, go for it, but you don't have to do that. Like that's excessive. I agree. An hour, maybe a little bit more if you're a talker. And you're getting a good voice box workout at the gym, like some people seem to be doing on my bench press. It's not mine, but that's what some people seem to be doing. You don't have to be there that long. If you want to go in the morning for a resistance training and then come back for cardio or something, if that works for your schedule and you like doing it, go for it. But it's not saying that's mandatory. What I will recommend is that whatever is the priority for you, whether it's sports specific, whether you just want to get jacked, do that first, then do whatever isn't necessarily priority after. That way, if you're kind of gassed from that priority workout, you're not going to completely ruin your progress in terms of that priority.
Do with that. Number 3, revolving your life around calories, macros, and your gym schedule. Canceling plans with people to go and do this stuff. You should be implementing these things into your life to keep you healthy. Another part of a healthy lifestyle is having a social life, okay? Number 4 is idolizing your appearance over your health. Most likely, if you are taking care of yourself from the inside, it is going to reflect itself onto the outside. Number 5, bulking or cutting.
Let me stop right there. So mainly social things. Definitely don't revolve your whole life around it. I think these are pretty reasonable takes besides the whole kidney damage thing, which I don't even think that was like a take. I think she was stating it as fact, but not associating your entire life with the gym is probably a good thing. I mean, I've heard of people kind of ruining their vacations because they're looking for a gym and they spend an entire day from their vacation looking for the best gym, or they don't choose to go out to eat, or they don't enjoy Christmas or Thanksgiving, unless you are competing, right? And even if you are competing, I guarantee, like, I could write you something and we could figure out how to make, a holiday or a special occasion work into your diet or your program or whatever, into your goals. You don't have to avoid these things, right? In fact, I would say it's better to enjoy social events. You just have to be honest with yourself, right? For example, Christmas is coming up right now. I'm going to eat whatever I want on Christmas, but I'm not going to use Christmas as a reason to get a cheat day out of every day, right? If there's leftovers, I'm going to eat them reasonably and I'm going to track them. On Christmas, I'm not going to track anything, right? Currently, I'm in a weight loss phase, as you might, be able to see. I'm gonna eat whatever I want on Christmas, but then I'm gonna use those leftovers like I would any other food. I'm gonna track it. I'm gonna weigh it. I'm gonna eat the lean proteins, any vegetables, and then anything that's super high calorie, like I'm sure someone in my family is gonna be making mac and cheese. I'm either gonna eat that like a very small amount, and I'm gonna track it, and I'm gonna use, fitness apps, and I'm gonna put in a similar mac and cheese. Obviously, it's kind of hard to track something that you didn't make. Even if you did make it, it's kind of hard to track it because there's so many ingredients. Even with mac and cheese, you put like 3 different types of cheeses in there. Where you put a roux, whatever. I digress. But eat them like you would any other food. Don't treat the entire week of Christmas like a special occasion. Be honest with yourself. Christmas is a special occasion. Thanksgiving is a special occasion. If you graduate from college, that's a special occasion in my book. But don't make the whole week a special occasion. Don't make working a long shift at work a special occasion. Because how many long shifts do you work, right? Don't make, I don't know, getting a good grade on a test or a quiz. I mean, I've seen people be like, oh, I got a 90 on that quiz. I'm gonna go out for McDonald's. It's just a quiz. Like, be honest with yourself.
Force feeding yourself food to get to a certain goal or restricting yourself from food to get to a certain goal, that's not good for your health, all right? It's a very toxic mindset. And I know I'm gonna get the gym people all mad, but it's just the truth, okay? Number 6 is over.
All right, I'm just gonna stop right there. Depends what you mean by restricting. Like, if you are hardcore, I'm sure what she means is just restricting yourself in a sense of like you aren't eating at all, or you're eating like rice cakes and fish in a rice cake, and a rice cake, and then fish in a rice cake. No, restricting yourself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? I mean, like, for example, you could say, I don't drink. You're restricting yourself, but it's probably for the best, right? You're probably benefiting, and it's partially discipline, and it's partially just saying you're taking that into your personality. Like, I don't do that. Like, that's not my thing. I don't enjoy it, or I don't see the benefit, right? So if you don't, for example, with the food, right? You might think, hey, my goals right now are I want to get to, I don't know, 170. I'm 180 right now. I'm gonna not eat, junk food. Like, I'm not gonna eat like Cheetos and chips because, quite frankly, I just don't enjoy them that much to warrant their negative effect towards my goal. So you're restricting yourself, but it doesn't have to necessarily be from a bad place. Obviously, if you're like doing like a water fast, like you are restricting yourself in an unhealthy manner that's genuinely going to negatively affect your health, then yeah, you have to do a needs analysis. Like, if you're competing and this is a short-term thing, you're doing it like a week before your competition, yeah, okay, it's short-term and it's to achieve a goal that you really care about. But if it's like something you're doing for like more than a week, like a month long, 2 months long, like you're heavily restricting yourself in a negative way, that's bad. But I don't know if that's what she meant.
Every once in a while, I wonder, why is everybody obese? And then I stumble across this. Like, this is the size of my hand. And it is 1,240 calories. That's like half of most women's calories in a day. Size of the hand. It's crazy. A little awareness goes a long way. TNF out.
All right, so this is TNF. You guys might know him. May or may not. A bit more popular than some of the other people that we might see on this video. I kind of agree. Like, I agree and I disagree. Like, that is ridiculous. And I think the part that I really agree with is awareness, right? Just knowing that is not a reasonable amount of calories, right? Obviously, he's not saying never eat it, right? You can probably fit it in. Like, I could very reasonably fit a quarter of that into my diet on a probably daily basis, right? But I'd have to sacrifice other things, right? And I'd have to sacrifice probably more than I'm willing to enjoy a significant amount of that point. Like, let's say reasonably, I could eat half of that point. Like, that would be point. Why do I sound Irish? I'm not Irish. I could reasonably eat half of that pint, and probably that'd be the portion. Like, I wouldn't be full, obviously, it's ice cream, but I would want to eat half of it. I would have to sacrifice like 600 calories of other foods that I also enjoy. So being aware of the calories and being aware of where they come from, weighing things. I think everyone should at one point weigh their favorite foods. Like, get a food scale, weigh it. I'm not saying you have to do it for the rest of your life, but I'm saying at one point in your life, just weigh your favorite foods. Weigh that peanut butter. I'm telling you, a tablespoon does not look like a tablespoon. Okay, weigh that peanut butter. Take your favorite snack. Let's say it's Cheetos. I like Cheetos personally. Weigh that. I'm telling you, the last time I weighed Cheetos, I was like, holy crap. Like, I mean, these are delicious, but like, I usually eat like 4 times the serving. So it's liberating in a way because now I know how calorically dense they are, and I weigh it in my mind, right? Like I said before, I weigh it where yes, those Cheetos are delicious, and to me they're probably worth the calories, but they're not necessarily worth sacrificing the other food I would eat with that calories. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weighing game on the countertop and in your mind.
This is part one of Gym Hot Takes you're not ready to hear. Lifting heavy does not build muscle, controlling the weight does. You do not need pre-workout, you need discipline, and your mindset needs more work than your physique does. Training 6 days a week with a bad diet is the reason why you're not growing. You don't need a new workout plan, you actually just need to stick to one. Sleeping is more anabolic than any supplement you can ever take.
Sleeping is more anabolic than anything you can take. I mean, I'm sure there's some actual anabolic steroids that would be more anabolic than sleep, but obviously if you were to weigh sleep, like 8 hours of sleep versus 0 hours of sleep, but you're also taking steroids, you know, I'm sure for longevity's sake alone, the person with 8 hours of sleep is going to get jacked later on the line. The other person's probably going to die within like a week. But I wouldn't necessarily call sleep a supplement. I think that it is, I know what he's saying. I wouldn't call it a supplement. I would call it something that you should just get just for the sake of sleep. I mean, yeah, I would say sleep is definitely important for muscle growth. And I'd say the research says that too. And I agree. I've said some things like that. Like people have asked me like, oh, you know, how important is it to, you know, eat protein, you know, right after, like in that half-hour window after you work out? And I'm like, like I'd rather you get an extra hour of sleep. Like, you know, it's not, anabolic window isn't like huge. Like, yeah, sure, get protein in after, but sleep is just so incredibly important. It's something that a lot of people lack. I always kind of cringe a little bit when I hear people saying that they sleep only like 4 or 5 hours a night because they want to wake up and work out and really get after it. And I'm like, like, is that really more productive? I feel like you should just get your sleep in. Like, you got like 16 hours of the day. I'm sure you can spend one of those doing a good workout. So lifting heavy does not build muscle, controlling the weight does. I don't know if he's saying this like in like a vague, like you shouldn't just lift something heavy. It's about how you lift it and actually having it. I feel like it's a little too vague. Like, what is he saying? Is he saying controlling the eccentric? Because I would disagree. I would say actually the lifting portion, like lifting the weight, is more important than the eccentric sort of in terms of regular resistance training, like at a big box gym. I do think control is important, but mainly for injury prevention. I think taking a joint through an action that targets a specific muscle, right, is the most important thing. And then lifting heavy weight and progressing. But I will say that I kind of agree in the sense that, like, if you give me 2 people, right, one person is lifting twice the weight, but is just kind of throwing the weight up using a bunch of body English, and the other person is using half the weight, but is really controlling it. I don't know which I'd say is more jacked, right? Obviously, if they were twins, it'd be a better, I don't know. I would say it'd be probably pretty close, especially early on, like intermediate. As they become expert, I would probably err more towards the side of the person controlling the weight, not necessarily because control in of itself is like what builds muscle. I think mechanical tension is what builds muscle, and obviously good non-training variables. But I think there's a little bit too much obsession over control. Like, what does that really mean? I think you should control the weight in a sense that you are always in control of the speed that the weight is traveling. You know, you don't want to just be dropping the damn weight. You want to be in control. But lifting heavy and lifting progressively heavier weights is probably more important. Like, you're not progressing by lifting progressively slower. You're progressing by lifting progressively heavier. In fact, you might even progress by lifting progressively faster, right? In terms of like plyometrics and power development. So I don't know if I'm totally in agreement with that, but I will say that controlling the weight, longevity, and getting jacked for lifelong is super important, because if you sustain injuries, that can heavily impact your consistency and your overall muscle mass. All right, you don't need pre-workout. Agree. Yeah, straight up, you don't need pre-workout. A little caffeine, if you're not at risk of myocardial infarction, might be helpful. you might want to try it. It's definitely evidence-based in terms of enhancing performance, but you don't need it. It's in general, I think that the pre-workout market's a little expensive now. So I'd probably err towards just getting your mindset in order, just like you said. I definitely agree with this take, right? You don't need the pre-workout. You just need to actually go into the gym with a purpose and actually want to lift heavier and want to progress. I see too many guys, like younger generation, like, you know, late teens, early 20s, who are just in their feelings, probably because they're constantly on social media, constantly comparing themselves to the top 1%, and they feel like they're behind, and they just go into the gym with such a terrible mindset. Why does it matter what the top, like, focus on yourself and your own progress and strive for it. You should be going into the gym every time, be like, I can't wait to hit that one extra rep. I can't wait to do my favorite lift. I can't wait to just lift heavy. Right? Watch some boobs. Watch some Rick De La Stick before your gym sessions. I guarantee that'll boost your discipline and your work ethic.
Bored and I kind of want to see some people argue, so here are some of my gym hot takes. For one, I don't think you are obligated to let somebody work in if they ask, even politely. I understand the gym gets busy, bro, and I'll be the same way. If I ask somebody to work in and they say no, I'm like, okay, I want to do it alone, dude. I don't want to have like weird, awkward small talk with you. For two, this is something I see in all my comments all the fucking time. I care about my outfit. I care about what I wear to the gym. If I don't feel good in what I'm wearing, I will have a shit lift. Nothing to do with what other people are thinking or looking at me. I know people are going to say like, well, if you care about what you wear to the gym, you care about what people think of you. I just want it to be cohesive. I want it to look good. If I'm feeling good, my lift is significantly better. Number three, and probably the most controversial, nobody gives a shit if you're on gear. Like, when was the last time that you looked at anybody but yourself at the gym besides like some like clearly juiced up dude? Think about it. You're not there to see anybody but yourself. You only care about yourself. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're checking out your pump. And honestly, it's pretty selfish to think that people would actually give a shit if you take gear or any sort of peptide to lose your natty card. Nobody cares. If there's a peptide that will help you recover and have you perform better in the gym, and you can manage any sort of side effects that you might get from that, then take it. But yeah, this is some stuff that I came up with the top of my head. Let me know if you guys have any hot takes.
Okay, I'm just going to go right to that last one. Don't just take something that's going to improve your performance. Okay, you should, if you ever decide to take something, which I'm a noble natty, I'll call it like it is. You can probably tell I'm not a mass monster. I am not willing to sacrifice my longevity and all of the benefits of lifting that aren't strength or size related to just boost my strength and size a little bit more, right? I lift because it has given me an incredible amount of self-efficacy, self-discipline. It has helped me mentally. It has helped me physically. It has given me so much more confidence. And I worry that any, exogenous peptide, steroid, hormone is just going to take away from that, right? Because we've known from research and we've known from just case studies, individuals, that mentally these things have a huge effect. And taking something, I think the biggest mental aspect that a lot of these people who take, steroids, peptides have is that you never know how much of it is truly you, right? I mean, we've all watched Captain America, right? People always say, oh, you got everything that you have from a vial. And I think in some cases with the steroids, it is kind of true. We've seen from research that you can grow from steroids without doing resistance training. So I don't know about you guys, but personally, I care what I take, and I think you should care. I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't take it because of what other people think. I kind of agree with him on that standpoint, but I think that's not the point. You should care, right? Do you want to have kids? Are you willing to be on, TRT for the rest of your life? Because that is a possibility. Are you willing to sacrifice most of the benefits that come with resistance training that aren't size and strength related, right? And then are you willing to live with the fact that, quite frankly, you might grow as a result of your steroid use and not your own hard work? Because it's just true, and you'll never really know. You'll never know how much of it was your work ethic and how much of it was the steroid. Because we know you can grow on steroids and no work ethic, right? Obviously, it probably helps, but you'll never know for sure. And personally, I wouldn't be able to live with that. Just that aspect alone, not even including, health, longevity, mental health, all that. So I disagree. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, some of the other things are tame. In terms of working in, I pretty much always let people work in with me. Like, that's always like the funnest thing, is when someone's just like, hey bro, can I work in with you? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I'm always like, oh, come on. Like, to me, that's one of my favorite things, is like that community aspect of lifting. I love it. I always let people work in. But yeah, no, it's absolutely not required. right? A lot of gyms have the policy of if someone asks you to work in, please say yes, but it's not like you're going to get kicked out for saying, no, I just want to, let me just do my sets. I got, 2 more sets left. And 90% of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, people are like, okay, yeah, no problem. Simple as that. I don't really see a big deal.
PSA, hot take, or whatever you want to call it, just because you are a bodybuilder or an Olympic weightlifter, or you go to the gym or you do CrossFit or whatever it is, that does not make you qualified to coach someone on how to do that, or to teach someone about exercise science or fitness or anything related to that.
Okay, this sounds like she got this sounds like she got upset about something. This sounds like someone said something that she got upset about. But regardless of that, yeah, but I would say it's true, right? Just being jacked, right? Or being a bodybuilder or whatever doesn't necessarily make you qualified. I wouldn't necessarily say qualified, because qualified is kind of like, are we talking legally? Because personal training, right, and sort of fitness is a relatively unregulated field. So legally, yeah, I mean, you can just give advice to fucking anybody. But if we're talking like, to be good at it, right, you can be a absolute amazing bodybuilder. You could be IFBB pro. That doesn't necessarily mean you're good at giving advice or you know what you're talking about. It really doesn't, right? I mean, I know people who are genetic fucking phenoms, right? They basically were born with 3D delts. I've talked to them. They genuinely don't train consistently. They eat like crap. And they train terribly, but they look phenomenal. Some people are just genetic phenoms. And as a result of that, people usually go to them for advice, but they don't know what they're talking about, right? Like generally, if you hear someone say like, oh, you just got to get the blood in the muscle, like do as many drop sets as possible. It's like, okay, yeah, you're one of those guys. Like, sure, it can be effective, right? But it's not going to be more effective than other approaches, right? It's not like getting blood to the muscle is the only thing. Like, that's not what's driving hypertrophy. I agree with her, but it's just that word of qualification, right? Like, in reality, you can take advice from anybody, and it's really, I think it's our, as a consumer, as someone who's asking for advice, who's looking for information, I think it's our responsibility to just analyze, how does this person know this, right? Does this person know this just because it worked for them? Right? And it's fine to take anecdotal advice. It's fine. You just have to realize it's anecdotal advice. It's not, the end all be all. Or you have to take advice and be like, okay, well, this person actually is, like they are certified, multiple certifications. They have a degree in exercise science, kinesiology. They are telling me this based on that, right? Based on actual science. So it's probably more reliable. It's really more our responsibility. I think the internet is amazing. I think everyone should be able to go on here and be able to give their opinion. But we need to take it with a grain of salt if it comes from, a salt shaker rather than the ocean.
10 more gym hot takes that get progressively hotter and hotter as I go along. Number 1, arm day is the most boring shit in the fucking world.
Arm day is the most boring shit in the world? What? No, I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I don't really think that's like, it's like a hot take, but like, who cares? Like, I think it's fun. I think leg day is still fun, but I don't think it's as fun as like doing arms or doing like a heavy overhead press or something. I don't think it's as badass. But I don't know. It's not really like a hot take. I don't know. Like it's just a preference.
Number 2, Quest protein bars are all ass.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Stop pretending that y'all like them. You don't. They taste like fucking cardboard and rubber. Number 3, the elliptical is the most slept on piece of cardio equipment in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's criminally underappreciated from like our generation, like our age, like the 20-year-olds, like the broccoli-haired 20-year-olds. Yeah, I definitely think so. But older population, absolutely not. I mean, older population love the damn elliptical. Like, sure, the treadmill's still probably the most popular cardio equipment by quite a wide margin, but a lot of people love the elliptical. I mean, it's quite often at my gym that all of the ellipticals are taken. I would say, if anything, if I had to say the most slept on cardio equipment, it's probably the rower. Like, the rower is pretty freaking great. Like, you don't have to be a rower. Like, you don't have to be like a sport specific athlete to use the rower. I think it's great. I think it's a good cardio source and it's a good thing to mix it up with.
Number 4, the worst commercial gym in the world has to be LA Fitness. I despise an LA Fitness. You would never catch me dead going there ever again. Number 5, hitting 200 grams of protein is not hard at all. I deadass don't even have to try and I will hit 250 grams of protein. I seriously struggle to believe how some of y'all can't even hit 200. 6, and this kind of goes...
I think if you're eating whole foods and you're eating lean protein sources, yeah, hitting 200 isn't that hard, especially if you just have a good appetite. If you're not, I think one of the big things that I noticed from my clients is that the people who have a hard time hitting their protein are usually the people who don't eat breakfast, right? And then at lunch, they get whatever's near them. They don't bring lunch. Then if you want to hit your protein, yeah, it's like practically damn impossible to hit 200 grams of protein with just the evening. But if you're eating a good breakfast and you're eating a good lunch that you pack to like high protein, yeah, it's not nearly as hard to hit 200 grams. But if you aren't eating breakfast, that alone is going to heavily impact your chance to hit 200 grams because you'd have to basically eat like 150 for just dinner, and that's a lot of protein.
Number 5, 10K steps is also the easiest part of fitness. It's literally just an hour of...
I wouldn't say it's the easiest part of fitness. I'd say 10K steps is super reasonable for most people. Well, not most people. I'd say it's super reasonable for people who work a job that isn't completely sedentary. And then to improve that, if that's the case, it's not like it's impossible. I'm not giving you an excuse to not hit 10,000 steps. It's just a little bit more difficult. You have to actively create the habit of getting up and going for a walk intentionally because it's not required from your job. You know what I'm saying? Like for me as a personal trainer, it's relatively easy to hit 10K steps because I'm walking around with my clients like pretty constantly. Like I never really sit down. But for someone who works at a desk, like you have to create a habit. You don't just get 10K steps just for existing.
Number 7, I think it should be a bannable offense to leave your weights racked on a machine. Should also be a bannable offense not wiping down your fucking equipment, you nasty fucks.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Like bannable, absolutely. Like wipe your stuff down. Like it's not that hard. If you could put the weights on the damn barbell or on the damn machine, you can take it off. I know you got the strength to do it.
To lift without your shoes on, but people that take their socks off too, that shit is fucking nasty. I know it doesn't hurt anybody, but that shit just like it just irks me a little bit. Like just do that shit at home, bro. I cannot justify getting your grippers out for a leg press. Number 9, you should not be able to leave your water bottle at a machine. If you need to use the bathroom, tough fucking luck, especially when you leave it at a machine where there is only one of them in the gym. And number 10, because I get a lot of hate for saying this, but I do not care, stop being naked in the fucking sauna and in the
I don't go in the sauna, so I'm not going to touch on that one. Leaving your water bottle in the gym, absolutely. It does not guarantee that I'm not just going to move that fucking water bottle and just use the machine. Like, I'm going to look over, and if I see a water bottle, I give you like 30 seconds a minute. And if you're not back, I'm just using the machine, and you can come and grab your water bottle. If you want, you can work in with me, but it's not me working with you, it's you working with me.
Here's some fitness hot takes you are not going to agree with. You do not need to eat that much protein to build muscle. I see people that weigh 150 pounds getting in 200 grams a day. That is just overkill. It is not necessary. Especially if you are bulking, there doesn't seem to be any benefit to having more than 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, anything above 160 grams is kind of just extra. It's kind of just a safety net. When you're bulking or in a surplus, more of the protein actually gets used to repair and build muscle. So technically you need more protein when cutting than when bulking. Number 2, you can work out every single day without getting fatigued if your diet, exercise, and sleep hygiene is correct. I get about 9.5 hours of sleep every single night, and there has never been a study done on recovery in someone who sleeps that much. Number 3, anyone that says protein powder is not a real food is a bozo. You should not listen to them. You should block their account. They scientifically do not understand how protein powder is made. Whey protein is actually a byproduct.
All right. So first one, in terms of hitting your protein, yeah, you really don't need that much. Like if you want to aim for like your weight in pounds, in grams, in protein, that's like, I wouldn't say that's like excessive unless it's taking away from your carbs and your fat excessively. Like if you're not hitting at least 30% of your body weight, of course, this is all in freedom units in pounds, in fat, it's probably a problem. And if you're not hitting enough carbs to feel good throughout the day and to have good workouts, then yeah, you're probably eating too much damn protein. In terms of the sleep, absolutely. Sleep is so damn good. 9.5 hours is a lot. I don't know if I have the schedule to do 9.5, But yeah, sleep is so incredibly important. I don't even think I need to touch on that. I think we all know from like our childhood that sleep is pretty damn important. So I think we can extrapolate it and say that's probably good for muscle too, and for resistance training and for strength and everything. And then people who say that whey protein or protein powder isn't real food, they're just wrong. It's real food, right? Are you going to act as if it's not going to turn into protein and calories in my body? I mean, there are people who eat protein powder genuinely every day for like so many years, and they're still obscenely healthy. It's from cow's milk, or it's from, you know, peas, or it's from potato protein's a thing. It's not very common, but it's a thing. It's from soy. It's from food. You know, it's like saying cheese isn't real food because it, you know, it doesn't come from the cow like that. You know, it's, some people just are haters, quite frankly. But yeah, I still would say that protein powder isn't something that I would have in my diet as like a staple, mainly because I just don't like it. But yeah, it's still real food. I would, you know, it's a big convenience thing. Like, it's so convenient, especially if you have like, you know, a shaker bottle. It doesn't get much more convenient than that. All right, guys, so that pretty much sums it up. Honestly, these takes weren't too crazy. There were a couple that were a little hot, but for the most part, I'd say these are all kind of mild takes. I'm gonna have to look up some crazier ones. But if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.